This is an excerpt from the book of Unus, Sumus. Introduction. It doesn't matter when you begin to delve into the pages of this book, as long as you have read the prologue and introduction. Whether it is on January 1st, April 6th, or December 31st, that is the date you were meant to begin your journey. Trust in that. The fact that you are here reading these words at this very moment in your life is not a coincidence or mistake. The universe has been guiding you toward it. You have been preparing yourself for this moment all your life, whether you realize it or not. Here is how it works. Each day contains a biblical quote chosen from either the Old or New Testament from the World English Bible. All quotes in this book were selected to teach, to question, to inspire, and to explain a philosophy that is not new, but has been altered or simply set aside. They provide an opportunity to engage in a new perception of who we are and who God is. This is followed by the Expanded Humanities section that contains inspirational messages for anyone seeking an expanded view of spirituality. Once again, you do not need to be from any particular faith. The only thing required is the passion and willingness to look for spiritual insight, empowerment, and knowledge. You will find it here. The amalgamation of science and spirituality brings a more whole and complete perspective of the universe and our innate and inherent powers of manifestation. The benefit to your life and the lives of those around will quickly become apparent. The next section is called Expanded Christian, and it focuses on divinely downloaded messages regarding the teachings of Jesus the Nazarene. Whether you are Christian or not, you will benefit from these universal messages, for they will pave a path toward having an expanded human experience. Jesus came to bring incredible revelations to all of humanity. If you are a Christian, however, be prepared to enter a new phase in your spirituality as you begin to take an expanded view of Christianity. Finally, there is a call to action section that brings that day's devotional message into practice. This could be an exercise, prayer, or gratia. Gratia is a Latin word meaning grace, gratitude, and goodwill, and I use it in my book to refer to a mantra, word, phrase, affirmation, or even a paragraph that elevates one's vibration and good emotions. In other words, it is a feel-good verbal boost. As you go through the next 365 days, reading one page at a time, you will notice concepts and messages that often repeat. This wasn't done in error. It has taken years of information consistently fed to us that has wired our brain to think in a certain way. We cannot embrace a new idea or perspective without eliminating a lifetime of old information first. For this reason, there are certain concepts that are lovingly emphasized throughout the year so that a slow rewiring takes place. This book may not resonate with everyone because we're not all on the same life journey. To those that are ready to embark on a new adventure, a new spiritual experience, you will discover yourself aligning with a radical and untraditional spiritual point of view. Remember that Jesus did the very same thing over 2,000 years ago. Not everyone was ready to receive this message back then. His philosophy on life was so unconventional that the religious authorities in the ruling establishment looked at him as a blasphemous heretic, a threat to their old, indoctrinated, and at times misguided way of thinking. For those of you who are now ready and feel an instinctive pull towards something new, I welcome you to take a glimpse into the universal mind and the secret teachings of Jesus the Nazarene, a member of the Jewish enclave known as the Essene Nazarenes. Welcome all who want to think for themselves as you embark on a progressive and very personal venture. As an expanded Christian, I encourage you to break free of that little restrictive box you have been placed in. No matter how comfortable it may seem, there is a grander and more expansive new world out there that will bring you knowledge, wisdom, and clarity. It is time to free yourself from the toxic need to control everything and everyone in your life, or from those who are trying to control your life. Your goal is to develop a stronger trust in the universe, a stronger bond with Spirit, and a stronger understanding that we bring things into our lives at a certain time for a certain reason. Your journey begins with the instinctive need to release the bonds of old, outdated energy. For Christians, this is a chance to truly embrace the new covenant, a spiritual ideology that Jesus brought to us when he began his earthly mission. This may mean taking baby steps, but that's okay. That's perfect, for they will eventually bring a new level of enlightenment. I suggest having a journal handy in which you can record your thoughts. You'll be asked to do that throughout the year. Please understand that we were always meant to live by the new covenant before mainstream doctrine forced us to accept both the old and the new as a total sum. It is like walking around life wearing an old shoe and a new one. It doesn't feel comfortable or balanced, and it doesn't make sense. The contradictions between the old and the new create more questions than answers. Please do not misunderstand. I'm not suggesting doing away with the Old Testament. I fully acknowledge its importance and the lessons we can discover in its pages. That old shoe may simply need a new discerning perspective before we have a perfect fit. The stories written in the Old Testament are either actual events or representations of events. They are history, albeit based on someone's perspective, but history nonetheless. I make no apologies for my candid views of the Old Testament and its continuous misrepresentation of God, but I also acknowledge its significance. It gave us the 10 Commandments, which should more appropriately be called the 10 Universal Guidelines, for God does not give us free will and then punish us for exercising it. These spiritual guidelines are part of the original law of Moses, before a myriad of laws and corresponding punishments were added on and then categorized as inspired by God. The 10 spiritual guidelines provide a starting line from which you can begin to incorporate compassion, gratitude, and integrity into your life. They help you move closer to the energy and frequency of God. For that, my friends, is the true purpose of our lives, that we travel back to our main source and merge into complete union with this beautiful, loving energy that we have convinced ourselves is separate from us. Separation is simply an illusion, and the law of Unus Sumus clearly tells us this. So if we follow the Old Testament right through to the new one, we may not agree with how God was depicted, but keep in mind that what you are seeing is a reflection of humanity's journey toward enlightenment. For you cannot appreciate the light without knowing the dark. You cannot gain wisdom without shuffling through obtuseness. If you look at the totality of the Old and New Testament, what we have is not an evolving God, but an evolving human consciousness. As that consciousness changed, so did what was written and recorded in Scripture. The eye for an eye mentality evolved to a turn the other cheek perspective. We evolved, not God. Light and darkness are equally important, and neither is completely bad or good. They simply are. In order to jump high, you must first crouch low before launching yourself up into the air. High and low, truth and untruth, light and darkness all coexist to create the outcome. If the Old Covenant allowed us to crouch low, the New Covenant now propels us to new heights. If you're feeling some discomfort at reading this new perspective, don't worry. It is natural. You may wish to reflect on these words, returning to them when you feel compelled with a renewed desire. But if you question what you've been told to be the only truth, then you may wish to continue on this journey of learning, growth, and awareness. Your open heart will rejoice in its new enlightenment. It is important to state that as messages downloaded into my awareness, most times I was simply the fingers that typed, with no resistance or need to control the message's outcome. I was patiently and lovingly guided to simply trust the universal mind's flow of information. This was an excerpt from the book of Unus Sumus. If you haven't done so, please share, like, and subscribe, and click on the notification button to receive notification of future videos. Sending you much love and light and many blessings.